And haircuts.
Oh yeah. My grandmother's old photo albums from back then when she was, my dad was just a baby. They were all dressed up, walking down the street. I'm like, what is this, Easter Sunday, Grandma? She's like, no. It's like we used to just dress like that when we went to the park.
Yeah, when you took an airplane or a train, but take a look at the men's hairstyles, Phil. They're very similar today, with the pompadour, kind of short most of the time.
Yeah, we are very sloppy when it comes to dressing. I don't know, and truthfully, I wouldn't want to have to dress up like that. So I guess, all in all, for me, it's a good thing. Maybe for society, it's not a good thing, but can you imagine that, having to put on a tie every day, even if you're not going to work? Oh, brother.
I think the zoot suit should come back.
Yeah, so I'm wearing a tie at the moment. I don't get on the air till I dress for the evening.
No, you and Clark have something else in common.
What, the zoot?
Yes, these damn stockings got a run in them already.
Give me shorts and a t-shirt in the summertime, and slacks like denim, and plaid flannel shirt in the wintertime, and I'm good.
Bill was referring to a picture that was taken at an ARL event where I was wearing a blue blazer, a dress shirt, and a tie.
Good evening, Charlie.
I think, a picture, now you're talking about pictures. I think everybody should have their picture, a recent picture, within the last 2 or 3 years on QRZ.
Well, you and Bert OIK both agree on that.
I can understand people not wanting to put their picture on there, honestly. What cracks me up is these people who are so paranoid about their address getting out there, but their address is right there on QRZ with a map for the whole world to find.
Well, yeah, and there's you can opt out of QRZ. I think we talked about that before. Or people that put their picture on there from when they were 25 years old, but they're 70 now.
Oh, I can think of several ops like that. Yep.
Oh yeah, or empty desks. Like you see a desk with an empty chair and a radio. Well, if I wanted to see that radio, I'll go on ham radio outlet. I want to see the guy or the woman that's the operator. And it's just it's nice to see. So Charlie, get with it and get your picture on there.
Pictures from elementary school. There you go.
I know what your legs look like from all the raccoon videos you sent me. All I ever see is your calves.
Oh boy, Barry, how about that?
Muscular calves they are, right?
No, I can't answer that question.
Come on.
Does he shave his legs?
No, they are not clean shaven.
Come on, Perry. Now you're I would think you're confident in your masculinity.
Not clean shaven. They're so like raccoon legs.
Well, Dad, I am comfortable in my masculinity. Yeah, he's got good-looking calves. He's got nice calves. Yeah, I got nice calves.
Listen to this conversation. You guys must work out.
W2SU.
That picture needs to be on QRZ.
W3MMR. Yeah, he should put a picture of his legs on there as his profile QRZ picture. So every time I go to log him on my logbook, there's his calves.
Working man, I'm just running this past you. Okay, could we go to break in? when we get on in the mornings?
You talking to me?
I'm talking to Charlie and you. I know the way you feel about it. Can we go to break-in the morning so, it doesn't take 15 or 20 minutes to wait around to make a transmission? Well, I'm just putting it out there. I mean, I'm not trying to run anything, but I'm just putting it out there. I'm putting it out there. Because, we've just run through, 4 or 5 topics in the last 10 minutes here. And if we were on in the morning, we'd still be on the chainsaw, 20 minutes later. Ugh.
Is it my turn? Once upon a time...
It's a good one, Phil.
Yeah, and don't forget to mention everybody's call sign, and then go down your the lined yellow notepad and comment on every single thing everyone had mentioned. Yeah, Frank, I hate that.
As I'm staring at a page full of notes from this morning.
I know you had writer's cramp this morning, Perry.
You know what sucks, though? I'm just being devil's advocate. People like doing that, too. And I don't partake. But I do get why some people like doing that. There's a tradition there, but it can be it can get tenuous.
Yeah, that was done back in the days of plate switches, where you flip that switch up once, you say everything you're going to say for the entire QSO, and then you shut it off, and you're done for the night.
That's a good point, Clark. And I guess the other morning, I hadn't talked to Gary, K1IC, and I think most of you guys know who he is, in quite a long time, and I had a few questions for him. And by the time I would have got it again and then asked him the questions and waited for the answer, it's only like a 3-second answer, but I needed 20 minutes to do it.
Make sure I got it. Phil, I agree with you 100%. I like it both ways, to be honest. There's sometimes where I like being in a round table when I have the time to do it. Early in the morning, usually as I'm drinking my coffee, I'll make a 2 or 3 minute transmission. Next person, that's fine with me. But when it gets into, so some transmissions you have 10 minutes. Each person, and there's 5 people in the QSO. It could take a while. I just don't have, unfortunately, the time during the week to make one transmission before I got to go to work. But I definitely see it both ways.
Well, the other thing is, let me just say something, and I'll keep quiet for a bit, is that you have to be cognizant that the rest of the group is interested in what you have to say before you say it for 10 minutes. Okay, so, I mean, that's part of it, too. But I don't know. I agree with you, Perry. I go both ways. But 3-minute transmissions, 3-minute if you're going to be a round table. But sometimes somebody goes on and on and on about something that nobody cares about, particularly except the guy that's telling the 15-minute story.
Well, we just learned that certain personal characteristics are hereditary.
Jesus Christ.
That's hilarious.
Oh, Clark. Anyway. Yeah, I've had pure signal on now, and hey, Phil, I'm not gonna lie to you. I still have plenty of modulation. It hasn't messed with my peaks at all. So, something must have happened, because I know for a fact that every time I used to put on pure signal, you would limit my positive peaks to 100%, and now I'm 125, 130% positive.
Well, good. I'm glad they addressed that. So. Yeah, because I had noticed that too, but it's been at least a couple of years since I played with that.
How do you feel about the phase reversal, Perry?
Oh yeah, they got a phase reversal button in Thetis now, the latest release. You could switch your mic phase right in the menu.
Oh, that's great. That is absolutely great. Yeah, whenever I use that rig, I always used external audio with it. I never used the like a virtual cable going into it. But so now, if you did use a digital cable going into it, that's great. You can reverse the polarity on the audio. That's awesome.
Oh, wait, no, all right, so now I got a question. So, Perry, if you have that ability, then what's to tell you that you've switched it to the right one?
Well, I don't know, to be honest. I think it's for... I just don't know, because it doesn't... When I switch to the phase, when I hit the quote-unquote button, I don't see any change in anything at all. You know, it's not like I flipped the phase on my D104 going to my DX100 and I'm only like, I'm actually, 65% positive, but I don't see a difference. But I'm not using external audio. I'm using, a USB mic pre and virtual audio cable into it now, and using the built-in processing in the software. So I'm thinking it likely has something to do with the line-in jack on the back of the radio, or the audio codec inside the radio, as opposed to the codec I'm using.
All right, I think it's a great feature, but if they're gonna do things on software, it would be so easy for them to have some kind of indication to say, oh, when you speak, the predominant polarity is positive or it's negative, but you can fix it using the phase reverser. The other thing is that only really counts for AM. Sideband, it doesn't matter. FM, 2 meter, I don't know what the rig does. That doesn't matter. CW doesn't matter. But it only matters on AM. But it would be very easy for them to say, yeah, you're creating more negative peaks than positive peaks, and that would justify the use of the phase reversing switch.
Yeah, you make a good point. It would be, that's a second modification. They just came out with that in this, to have the choice in this one. The choice, there's no way to monitor your percentage of, of course that could be seen on the scope or an outboard monitor. Okay, so as of now, you have to use an outboard device to measure that. But it would be nice to have a little light that would blink that say you got it right,
And I'm sure they could do that with all these meters they have now and all these visual effects on the software. So that would be pretty cool. Have like a negative and positive, light like they do on my monitors.
Yeah, Phil, don't you think like a green and a blue LED on that Fetus software or whatever to show you what your polarity is, your dominant polarity?
Oh, blue, yeah, blue, like a blue ray.
Everything is blue on mine, like the background and stuff. My little W3 MMR logo in the back.
Nothing is blue in this room. I've got my 1980s blue blocker sunglasses on. I guess they're not sunglasses, but yeah, I am styling.
Could you wear another pair of glasses underneath of those? Is it that style of glasses?
They're pretty big, yeah. Wearing these things, I look like Plastic Man. So yeah, I could read readers. I could wear readers under it.
Yeah, those are those like big, giant old people glasses. You remember them? Those things were giant in the 90s. All the old people were wearing those giant, covered up. You don't have to take your glasses off, sunglasses.
All right, relax on the old people stuff, okay?
Man, I feel old. I'm only 36.
The skin.
I'm sorry, Dad. I double with you. All I heard was skin.
I don't have your skin anymore with this new software with my call letters.
I have it still.
I don't have it. Okay.
I'll send it to you.
Barry's going to send his dad some skin. Don't you inherit that also?
I don't have Photoshop anymore because they make you pay for it monthly now. It's $20 a month. Probably 8 or 9 years ago, I paid for it before it was a monthly subscription thing. You just pay it was like $100 or something. And now I have to pay for it monthly, and they took it away, and I'm like pretty pissed off about that.
Hey, by the way, here's the topic
Could be
that affects
twisted.
a lot of people, especially if you have a new vehicle. Is there? I believe this is true, but are there like some new models coming out now where you actually have to have a subscription to features in your car? I was astonished by this. I want to do more research on it, but apparently several people, authoritative people, have said this. Like, for example, if you want heated seats, you have to pay monthly for that.
That is true. That is definitely true, Clark. And I think it's for, like, what I would say, quote-unquote, basic features, like, you know, something like, you know, blind spot monitoring, but, like, for the front and rear, and, like, because some of these new Mercedes and Audis and Porsches, the radar systems in these things are very elaborate. Like, you know, the Teslas, I mean, that thing can sense a stop sign, and as you're driving, it has a stop sign that goes by on the screen. Like, you know, these things are pretty involved, so they're taking advantage of it.
I got it back.
The other thing with the newer cars is everything is recorded and it's all downloadable. So if you feel like being Mario Andretti and you cause some kind of problem on the roadway, they're going to know about it.
Hey, Phil.
Yeah.
I got a friend of mine, W5JI in Florida, just changed his auto insurance carrier. And they got him for that. If you use this module, you'll get a discount if you're a safe driver. And that's exactly what you're talking about. They're going to know if you stop too quickly, if you accelerated too quickly. I had one of those. I fell for it with Liberty Mutual. And I can understand the acceleration, but what surprised me is that braking. If you brake hard, even if somebody pulls out in front of you, it voids the discount.
Yeah, that's completely interactive, so they know pretty much in real time what you're up to. Lee at the insurance company, every couple of years I go into the insurance company. I have Allstate, and I go in there and I'm like, listen, I'm pretty much done with you guys, and I go through this whole thing, and then they always seem to find me a discount, and they were trying to sell me that module. I want nothing to do with it. And she goes, and then she tells me a story. There's one guy. He had it hooked up in his car, and when he would pull in his driveway, he would hit branches or something, and it would register. And somehow they thought he was a bad driver because every time he'd pull in his car in his driveway, he would be hitting branches, and somehow they were picking that up. So I asked, is there a microphone in this? He says no, but who the hell knows what the hell you're putting in your car? What I was talking about is built in to the actual computer in the car. In addition to GPS, it monitors everything, your speed, and if you've got the radar cruise, it'll know how far behind you were from the car in front of you. So if there's a big accident, after they subpoena the car company, the law enforcement can get all that telemetry data from your car. And boy, oh boy, there's a lot of data. So anyway, W2PHL.
The Alex Murdaugh trial, I don't know if you guys, I'm sure you're familiar with it, but I watched like a lot of it at work. Well, I was listening at work, and like every day. And they knew exactly where that truck was at right down to the second, and exactly where it was within like 5 feet. And it had it all up on the screen, how fast he was going. I mean, it was wild. And he had, it wasn't a brand. It was I think it was like a 2021 Tahoe or 2019 Tahoe Suburban, something like that. So this OBD2 software, which has been in vehicles since 1995, is all downloadable. It's unbelievable what the technology that's in these cars, especially nowadays. W3 MMR.
Well, there's a good tip for everybody listening. If you want to save money by downloading those modules for your car to save money on car insurance, note here, it is not recommended for those who have homicidal tendencies.
Jesus.
My recommendation to my buddy in Florida, because if they're going to use it to give you a discount, which they're going to negate if you drive like any normal human being, they're going to see if you're speeding. All that stuff. And that's right, Perry. I had that module from Allstate on that Caliber that I had. And this conversation goes back to that camera business we were talking about.
Yep, exactly. Everybody's house has cameras in it, you know, and all that stuff is all on the cloud now. A lot of these new cameras, you can't even put SD cards in. And you have to have a subscription service. I have those little Wise cameras. I bought them, I don't know, 5 or 6 years ago, and they still have an SD card slot. And that's how I record, but all that stuff's all broadcasted over the internet for really anyone to see or find.
I recommend everybody watch the movie 1984. It's on YouTube.
Oh, 1984.
Hey, Clark.
That is a classic. George Orwell, 1984. I saw the 1950s version of that last week, and it's. I mean, I remember reading the book about, this was, you get into it again, it's like, holy crap, this was visionary.
You know what I watched last night, Clark? You remember this one, the Andromeda Strain.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, it reminded me of COVID.
Isn't that something? You know what? Now you got me interested. I'm going to go look for that.
It was very cool, 1971.
Yeah, back when they were making really whack movies. Like Clockwork Orange.
Yeah, and Soylent Green.
Oh boy. Anybody want to not sleep tonight, watch some of these flicks from the early 70s.
Yeah, I've seen those come up on my Prime membership.
Hey, by the way, they showed A Clockwork Orange at college. I didn't know anything about it. I was starting my psychology courses and stuff. I knew that this was like big into psychology. So I went on a first date, and we went to go see this. Let me tell you, when that movie ended, all we said to each other is goodnight, and we went to our respective dorms. Boy, that didn't work out well.
Yeah, I was never into really movies at all, to be honest, but movies kind of like that, especially. Man, there's a lot of, like, apocalyptic type movies on here.
That's the only type of movie I don't care for, is those dystopian, try to make it like real life, where like tidal waves destroy cities and earthquakes and that. I don't like those. They are too easily can become real. But all that other stuff, blood, guts, violence, that's all good.
Oh, you don't have to watch movies. Look at the news feeds every day about Gaza. You can see all the dystopia you want.
Yeah, talk about a mess, man. That's a shame. What the hell's going on over there?
Yeah, sure. W2PHL. There was that Tom Cruise movie remake, War of the Worlds. I think that was War of the Worlds. And man, it was just, you're watching it and you're like, come on, where are the good guys? Like, how are we gonna, like, it was just 2 hours of we're just all gonna die one by one. Finally, at the end, if you know the movie how it ends, we have victory. But man, it was just like they were beating you over the head with how how we're all gonna die. It was a lot.
Yeah, that's I saw the original one, Phil, the one with Gene Barry in it and stuff. Of course, that's an H.G. Wells story, but I've never seen the remake. But I know what happens at the end.
Yeah. This is especially graphic, the remake. So, but at any rate, yeah. I don't know, I've been watching like a movie a night. Sometimes in the middle of the night I can't sleep, so I'll put a movie on. And I've been really enjoying some of the really bad horror movies. So many bad horror movies out there from like the 60s and 70s. And the worse they are, the more I enjoy them.
Yeah, the bad ones are the good ones.
Yeah, because it adds the whole dimension of, I can't believe how bad this is. So it's a whole other category of rating the movie.
Okay, and one BCG.
Wow, Clark. It's very nice of you to do that.
I was feeling uneasy by the dead air.
Wow. W2PHL. And once again, I'm going to recommend Run, Bitch, Run on Prime. That was the nastiest, goriest movie I've seen in a very long time.
I'm going to hook up a different mic.
I love
George.
female exploitation horror movies.
Yeah, that's how this starts, and then there's a twist. So, yeah, good times.
Yeah, it's certainly not politically correct, but man, I'm viewing it.
W2PHL. So, Clark, you like the 781, huh? Do you prefer this over the PR40?
You know, the 781 thing, I don't get it. Yeah, it does sound good. I guess it has a natural low-end roll-off, although, again, the first one I ever heard was Rob back when he was N1ALF, and that microphone sounded so hideous. I was astonished that Bob Heil could produce such garbage. Really. I said, this microphone has only one place, and that's under the wheel of your truck. But yours actually sounds good, so I guess Rob's was screwed up.
Maybe it was a ham fest special.
I mean, it sounded like a D104 with a completely shot cartridge.
Oh, then there was something wrong with it for sure.
Oh, yeah. Because I remember I listened to it directly. I mean, we had it on his audio mixer, and I put headphones on. I'm listening. I'm like, is this how it's supposed to sound? And he's like, oh, yeah, but it's meant for sideband. I'm like, no. This would be the worst audio for anything. Sideband, AM, 2-meter, nothing should sound like this. So, but yours does sound good, and I don't really get how it's designed differently, but if it has some kind of a low-end roll-off to get rid of the muddiness, yeah, it's working, and it does sound good.
Well, it's snazzier to look at than the PR40. This has a gold screen in the front, so I feel better when I operate with this mic.
And you're running the Max flat?
Standby. I'll put on my necessary prescription yes, everything is flat.
Well, it sounds very even.
Nice. Well, you know what? Since I'll do the reach here. Alright, this is with the low boost. I don't know now. Can you? Oh, I hear it in the headphones. Low boost. I got that Barry White sound.
Yes, you can see the mark you're leaving on the beach.
It's just not enough, baby. It's just not enough.
Is this thing working?
It is.
Yeah, braking station, pick it up. Who are you and where you at?
This is W3MMR on a Sterling ST-155 compared to the SM7B that I was just on.
Seems a little brighter.
Yeah, I don't have this transmit profile on this PC. I have to make a new one, so I might have to adjust some things.
I wish when guys were making these microphones, painstakingly winding the coils and, trying to get it to sound right in the, perfect Class A microphone preamp. Did they ever imagine a time where their precious microphones will be becoming digitized and run through profiles?
Probably not. Here, let me do this. This might have some more bottom end in it too. It kind of looks like that way on the pan adapter. I'm not listening to it through the monitor, but we'll make some recordings, adjust some things, and get this to where we need it, or want it, I should say, not need it, because I do what I want.
All right, Eric Cartman. I do what I want. Yeah, I can't tell anything low end here because I'm using the ICOM 7300 as a receiver, and it rolls off on the bottom end, so it's hard to know if you've got a big bottom or not.
Well, the airline seats will put that to the test.
Big bottoms, big bottoms. And my girlfriend, yeah, she's got them.
Remember, big bottom girls make the world go round.
Yeah, you guys remember that song by, God, why am I drawing a blank? You know what I'm talking about. Spinal Tap.
Yeah, Spinal Tap, big bottom girls.
No, Clark's confused. Of course I remember This Is Spinal Tap.
Okay, I figured as much, but... Cool. Yeah, it's a good movie, man. That's a classic. I would love to watch it. I just watched Stand By Me with my kid. He came to me, he's like, can we watch Stand By Me? It's like supposed to be a really good kid movie. I was like, yeah, we can watch it. It's a classic. That was actually pretty cool.
Yeah, and every kid who watches it wants to go run along a railroad track over a bridge.
Right, and go look for dead people.
The Goonies is another good kid movie.
What movie?
The Goonies.
Oh, God, I thought you said the booties.
That was actually on the other day as I was walking by the TV. I think it was on, I don't know, it was right before Halloween. This channel that was on was playing nothing but like, kind of Halloween-y, creepy type movies, and I looked over and I saw Sloth.
It's one of those where the kids are in charge, like they take charge of everything. The adults are like idiots. Stranger Things was kind of like that too. On Netflix, the kids are like running the whole show, and the parents are like, "Oh, what's going on?"
Right. It's funny, man. These kids are just out there roaming the world.
That was a pretty good series, though. I enjoyed that. I don't know if they're going to have a fourth season or not, but that was good. I like that.
W3MMR.
W2PHM.
Nope.
Is there too much gain right now? Looks like it might be a little on the hot side.
I didn't want to say anything, but yeah.
Alright, I'll back it down. Yeah, it's... Yeah, it should be a little easier on the ears.
Well, when there's no parry, there's span, and when there's span, there's no parry. Turning it down is good.
Yeah, I didn't even think about the fan noise. You don't hear it that much with the SM7, but with this condenser microphone, it's going to pick up a lot of that room.
Yes, there are some amateurs that like it so that between breaths you can hear their neighbors talking. That's a little fatiguing.
It's a good word for it.
It's just great. You know what it is? It's because you have to look at it from, here we go, psychological standpoint. when you're talking with someone, you know, the signal to noise ratio is pretty good because they stop talking and then that's it. But if you got a compressor on and you're talking and you pause, all of a sudden this background noise comes up. The brain isn't used to that, you know. It's like it starts to miss out on cues to say, okay, this word is this word is this word is that, and it's just not a good idea to have all this, game changing between words. If you get what I'm saying.
Right, I'm not going to run a noise gate. I don't know actually if anybody who does on AM. I know that some of the sideband guys down the band do. They run all types of, those ESSB guys run all types of processing, man. They got everything pumped up. But this does have this software actually has a pretty decent downward expander. Works pretty well, but I messed with it when I first started using this because I was using outboard processing and I was just, I was excited to have this new radio, but I haven't used it since. W3 MMR.
Yeah, but the ESSB guys are running expansion and gating and stuff like that because that's how they transmit and receive. So there's got to be you're absolutely right. It's like you either get tons of crushed audio. They're like ridiculously, breathy, the asthma sound, and then when they stop talking, it's dead quiet, and their transceiver goes into receive. They have to. Otherwise, if they didn't have that gating, their transmitters would always be transmitting because there would always be so much audio going in that the box would never have an opportunity to quote unkey.
Oh, for sure, because a lot of those guys have pushed the talk, and they don't run Vox, and even if they did, but some of these guys, you can just hear the fan blasting in the background, the blower hammering away. I don't know how. If I had a big amplifier like that sucker would be in the other room.
All right, so we're talking about too much processing. Let's turn this off. There you go. And now I'll bet if I have the headphones here in the background, you're going to hear. Yep. Unbelievable. Those headphones are 5 feet away from the mic. All right, this has got to stop. All right, much better. All right, now it's time. N1 BCG. That's why everyone needs a max processor.
That'd be a 3 MMR. Must be quiet where you are.
Well, except for the snoring dog net. Hold on, turn that off again. Here, you could probably hear him. Yep, that's my boy.
Huh. That's funny. My cats don't snore. My dog doesn't snore either. Hank doesn't snore. He just, like when he first falls asleep, he always dreams, gets his legs a kicking and a little whimpering, but he's never been a snorer.
That's right. I'm the nightmare slayer. If I wake up, if I hear the whimpering and stuff, and he gets like a gentle pet to just wake him up enough that the nightmare goes away.
Yeah, I do the same thing. It's funny. I'll give him a pet, man, because I don't know what he's dreaming about, so I try to give him the benefit of the doubt.
Hey, Perry, if you don't freaking fly, could we drop into lower sideband, and can you just give me an audio report? I have external audio going into this ICOM, and I'm curious if it sounds halfway decent on Slump Bucket.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, sorry about that, guys. Hopefully you're able to listen.
Oh my God! It was like the Pennsylvania QSO party took over.
All right. Oh wait. Okay. This is, by the way, this is the max going right into the A to D converter in the ICOM. It sounds a lot better than going into the mic jack. And there's no, I have no whatchamacallit, ALC running at all. So there's no clipping. So, but at any rate, this is the AM, the regular AM modulator in the 7300, and this is the direct injected bias modulator. Anyway,
sounds good. The first way was like 6 kilohertz wide, sharp. Now you're clear out to 10 plus. Sounds really good.
Yeah, Phil, so
well, thanks, Perry, I appreciate it. Clark, so I don't know if you heard any of that, but Perry's saying it doesn't sound bad on Slot Bucket, the Max processor, so that's good to know.
Yeah, I heard. No, I did. I switched over to sideband. But the thing about this radio, actually, that was a good test because I realized that there's, the two detectors here. The sideband, the product detector is not, doesn't have the same frequency characteristics as the regular detector. So I learned something. But but you also said you had a transmit EQ, so that's still in line, even where you've got the Max connected?
Yeah, well, what happens is there's a set of, if you use the microphone jack in the front, there's some filtering going on there, and there's some gain control and stuff. And if you use basically the 13-pin accessory port in the back is pretty much, although I'm not connecting it there, I'm actually I have a cap and a resistor soldered onto the circuit board. That's still, I'm using a built-in modulator, obviously, for sideband. So whatever that thing does, it does. I think I need to use a smaller cap though, because I have the TX, the EQ for the sideband portion. I have it at all the way down, -5. And Perry said when I put it up on 0, it was pretty muddy. So that I think I can make. I use a thinner cap to roll off the low end. It's already a 0.01 into 100K. So I believe that's a rolling off at 159 hertz, if I remember correctly, and it's still too much. So, but I'm still messing around with this thing. W2PHL.
Well, actually, the sideband frequency response stuff should be very easy to check because unlike AM, if you run a audio sweep into that on sideband, you turn your transmitter power down quite a bit. Just look at the output power meter, and that becomes your mod meter.
That's pretty cool. Well, the bass rules the day right now, so I'll have to address that. But at any rate, I appreciate Perry helping me out with that, because it's one thing to listen to yourself on AM with headphones and stuff, but then forget it with sideband. It's ridiculous. So you have to actually really make a recording, and I haven't gotten around to doing that.
Yeah, it sounded very solid. Not gonna lie. Especially for 3 kilohertz wide, 3.1, whatever it was. It sounds really good, really full-bodied, well balanced. Doesn't sound narrow at all. I think you're doing just about as best as you can with the bandwidth provided.
I was going to say, I sound like a delicious cup of coffee.
I think he was thinking you sound like creamy goodness.
Oh, sweet baby Jesus on a mountain.
And that comes from the guy who's got the calves. This doesn't stop here, does it?
No, apparently not. tonight, guys. You guys sound great. And it's good hearing everybody in here, George and my dad, Charlie, you guys. And feels good to be consistently back on the air with and everything, going and nothing breaking so far. So it makes me happy. W3 MMR.
Well, yeah, Perry, that's great. And yeah, the station's sounding good and signals right up there. I can't tell you if I noticed a difference between where you are and where you were, but both places you had a really great signal.
Yeah, thanks, Phil. I'd say ditto. You're a little stronger here. Everybody's a little stronger. I'm going to hook up my signal generator though to the ANAN and see where the calibration for the S meter is. You can adjust it right in the menu. And I've never done it with the 7000. I did it with my 200D that I sold to a friend of mine in California, but I haven't done it with the 7000. But I would imagine that it's fine. I've just switched software so many times. I would love to just know to make myself feel better.
Yeah, you might find out that you only have an S2 noise level.
Yeah, can you imagine? If this an S2 noise level sounds like this, man, phew.
Oh man, it'd be nice if it were that easy. It's a noise level. It's just a software fix. We can just eliminate it right now.
Yeah, tell me about it. After all that noise, man, I went through all that trouble at the last house. You guys know, and a lot of money spent, a lot of time knocking on doors and writing notes. And here, there's a switching power supply, Birdie, every 10 kilohertz, up and down 75 meters, and it's right here. It's like a 3874, then like 3884. So it's right in the middle of our AM QSOs, and it roars, especially on the older gear. The ANAN, I can listen to the lower sideband or upper sideband if I want, but on the old stuff, on the National and the Hammerlin, man, that thing's just roaring away.
Oh, there's something like that around here too.
I'm finding battery chargers are really poor. Cell phone chargers sometimes, but like auto car chargers, they're the worst.
Yeah, and drill battery chargers.
We're surrounded.
I did shut off the main breaker, and well, not the main, but shut off every breaker, but these outlets for the PC and the power supply for the ANAN, and it didn't make a lick of difference in my noise level, man. So it's got to be coming from one of my neighbors, and I'm not knocking on doors. I'm just not doing it. I'll just deal with it. If it gets worse, maybe I'll think about it, but for now, it's tolerable, and it's just about the same as the last location, so it is what it is.
Harry, do you have a portable radio that you can walk outside with and walk around and see where the noise is coming from?
Oh, yeah. I have a little portable shortwave that I got off of Amazon. It's a really nice little thing. And it's got a signal strength meter on it that actually works and works really well. And I can hook up an external antenna to it as well. I've hooked up like a direction finding loop to it before. And my old man also has a handheld Yagi with this MFJ like noise finding meter. And man, I just don't want to go through that again.
Well, it's interesting you mentioned that, because I did that with Rob, formerly known as N1ALF, last weekend. He has this noise that shows up, and it's there for like 20 minutes, and it just flashes the ham bands, and then it goes away, and then it comes back. Anyway, it's bad. And we determined that it is coming from one of the houses on his on his transformer. So, like here, they probably everywhere. They've got like a pole transformer, and then that serves like 6 houses. And we determined this because we went to each of the power poles, and they all have the copper ground wire that comes down. And by putting the radio near that, you could tell, okay, which poles have the noise at them. And there was one where we got to a pole, and it was gone. There was just no noise at all. And we noticed that we were already on to a power feed that was served by a different transformer. So it was only when we went to the poles with the ground wires that were bonded to the what's that called? The lines that go to the houses. But only those poles, and it was like a switch. The moment we got to a power pole that was on, that had a feed going to a customer's house that was not on the same transformer as Rob, absolutely no noise. So we narrowed it down to just the houses off of that transformer and one BCG.
So you're saying you narrowed it down to one of the houses that are connected to that transformer, or the transformer that goes to those houses?
No, because here's the thing, like that noise doesn't go through power transformers well. So it goes, if you have the secondary of the transformer, the 240 three-phase power, that's now split off to the houses, and then it goes to each of the houses. The noise was really strong anywhere in that area, but the moment you got to a part of the power feed, the commercial feed, that was not served by that transformer, the noise was non-existent.
You guys missed a golden opportunity the other night on Halloween. You and Rob could have dressed up like Ghostbusters or whatever, and you could have took your gizmos and knocked on doors, and then you really would have narrowed it down.
Oh no, we were out there with his SDR radio and this giant loop stick I made off of an Amazon shipping box, 4 feet long and 6 by 6 inches, with 50 feet of wire wound around it, and went around the neighborhood looking for where the signal was strongest. So yeah, I was just waiting for someone to come up to us and say, they say when you see something, say something. Of course, to that I would have said, yeah, well, you said something, now beat it.
Trick or treat. Oh, by the way, have you bought any electronic equipment lately?
Speaking of which, Fair Radio sales is shutting down.
Yeah, but they were very expensive anyway.
I'm looking for 2 matching 20 millihenry or microhenry roller inductors. QRO ones. Please. I'm announcing it. Please, 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 anyone.
Have you looked on eBay?
Yeah, I have. There's no matching ones. There's only like one of each type, and they're ridiculously expensive.
Hey, Curry.
I would set up a search.
Yeah.
Do a save search on eBay for that. And I hate to say this, but you got to start going to Hamfest.
Yeah, Dad. That's a good place to start, Clark.
Wanted ad. Put a wanted ad on QRZ or in QTH.com. Let your fingers do the walking.
When you see the one by itself, you got to buy it, and then you'll have a collections of ones, and then eventually you'll find a mate.
Well, that's also another good approach, Phil. But I don't know why I didn't think of a wanted ad. I've done that before. Like, if you really want something, put a wanted ad on there. Because that's how I got the AL82. That's how I got the AL80B. I know that those for sure came from wanted ads. And I got killer deals on those, too. Because, like, the people are sitting there, they're just cruising the ads. And they're like, oh, I got one of those. Or I got 2 of those laying around.
Might end up getting one just mentioning it on the air. It's amazing, the ham fairy activity.
Clark has the market cornered with that fairy stuff. AM Phone also. They have a wanted forum on their website.
I think think I put a wanted ad on the AM phone website. I'm pretty sure I did for that. But they have this company, Blue Ridge Amateur Radio. Speaking of Rob, I think he's bought one of their tuners. They sell a matching set that they make in-house and machine them. They're like made of really thick acrylic, like Lexan. They're gorgeous looking, and they look like they would work well to me. But they sell two matching ones with the gears and the belt for another balanced L network, which I want to build a smaller one, and I build one that I can remote tune with stepper motors. And so I have to get up and walk across the room to adjust the tuner to where the ladder line comes in. They sell them for $300 for the pair, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to find an older pair, two of them, and buy the gears and buy the belt for cheaper than that anyway.
I hate to, just a suggestion, but instead of doing the roller inductors, you can make your own inductors and just tap them with switches, and then, because you're going to need caps anyway to fine tune, right? I mean, are you just thinking you're going to just tune? You're going to need some capacity there too. And so now you're going to be tuning 4 things, right? You're going to have 2 coils and 2 caps. If you just tap inductors, for each band, and then you could just have the 2 caps to tune.
Right. Well, that's what I have now. I just use clip leads. There's 2 inductors, and there's I think it's, 10 through, what is it? 10 through, I think, 1,000 puff 7.5 kV vacuum cap. And then I have a knife switch to switch the capacitor on one side or the other of the matching inductors that I wound. I think it was used. Was it 1/4 inch copper tubing? Not 1/4 inch. Yeah, it might have been 1/4 inch or 1/8 inch copper tubing. Here are the pictures on my QRZ page. But I'd have to have the switch in there to switch the capacitor to either side, and I'd have to have motors to. Well, like you said, I could tap it and then have a series of switches or relays that'll switch the bands. But I really would like the roller inductors, man. That would make it a lot easier, in my opinion.
Well, it sounds like a fun project. We're going out tonight, so you boys behave, and we'll talk to you soon. 7-3, everybody. W2PHL.
All right, Phil, have a finest business evening ever. And tomorrow at this time, it'll be much darker.
Oh, that's right. Fall back.
Forgot about that. See you, Phil. Fantastic signal tonight, man. Great to hear you. W3MMR.
Thanks for your help
again,
again, Perry.
Are you making a balanced antenna tuner? I'm sorry you said I missed it.
I don't know if George ever came back. And Clark, see you later. W2PH.
Alright, man. Catch you later. I'm going to get out of here, too. I got to go see what these kids are doing, see when they're getting picked up, what the deal is, and I got to start making dinner because I am hungry. I got to feed the beast. So good to hear you, fellas. Great signals this evening. And we'll chat with you boys a little bit later on. Maybe later tonight. I'll be back on around 7 or 8 o'clock like I was last night. That was fun. So we'll catch you guys later. W3MMR. Standing by.
All right, Perry, 7-3. Hopefully you won't find out that they're pulling overnights tonight.
I was already thinking like that. I was already waiting for the question because it happens every time. But I can't have 3 kids staying over. I don't have, bunk beds, they'd be sleep. Well, I guess I could. What am I talking about? I could be the cool dad. So, we'll see. We'll see how I feel. So, catch you later, Clark. W3MR.
All right. There's always straight gin, if you need to calm things down if there is an overnight. All right, Perry, 7-3, N1 BCG.
Yeah, as they they come rumbling through the back of the house, running out back. Jesus. 7-3.